Friends, this is a very important video, and I don't often ask this. In fact, I don't know if I ever have asked this. This is a video that I'm going to ask you to share. If you don't want to share this video, that's fine, but please find articles that cover this topic to share with others. While most of us have left behind the cough and the restrictions that came down upon us because of it all around the world, one man is about to be sentenced for what he did in 2021 when he stood up to defend the right to worship, the right to feed the poor. Serving in downtown Calgary, Artur Pawlowski, as a pastor since 2005, has been serving the needy of his community, people without homes, feeding the poor, and praying with them. That became outlawed when the cough came down. Among the few that stood up and refused to bow to the restrictions, Artur Pawlowski was one of them. He is about to be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison in Canada for standing up for what he believed to be right. You may have seen the video of his Easter service in 2021 where he shouted down the police officers that showed up to shut down the service. Just for some background, this man grew up in the Soviet Union in Poland. He saw the Soviets shut down churches. He saw them outlaw religion. Those who believed in God and expressed so publicly could be imprisoned and tortured. Anyone who organized with others in organized religious services were punished brutally. He did not bow the knee then, and when he came to Canada, he refused to bow the knee again. While we, for the most part, are living free once again, he is not. He has spent 50 days in jail, much of that time spent in solitary confinement. Because naturally a pastor who has advocated nothing but nonviolence certainly is both a danger to himself and to his fellow inmates. He has been refused to be granted low security. He has instead been placed in maximum security, because the hardened criminal that he is unmanageable at any other level. Clearly trying to escape at all costs, this man who stood up to police and shamed them publicly in his church, when he had his Christmas service during the cough, over 100 police officers showed up. 52 cruisers were shown to be parked nearby, and anti-terrorism forces showed up to shut down and silence this man. And here we are, 2 years later. After the world has realized the error of its ways, he is about to be sentenced. So I am asking you to share this video. Make sure you're hitting the like and all that kind of stuff. Comment in the video. But share this video with others. You can email it. You can use the share button to get the link and then email it to other people. If you don't want to promote this channel, that's fine. What I do ask you is to look up Artur Pawlowski. Look up articles about him. I'm going to link one down in the comment below. If you want to share that article instead, that's fine. This isn't about promoting this channel. This is about Artur Pawlowski and his family, who are about to possibly see him sentenced for 10 years for speaking at the trucker rally. What did he say at the trucker rally that was so awful? They are charging him with inciting mischief. Inciting violence, did you say? No, inciting mischief. A new law passed in 2020 as the whole cough was making everybody's heads sick, their minds poisoned by fear and by delusions of grandeur in the government. They decided to suppress dissent. And anyone who was advocating or supporting anyone doing nonviolent protests near critical infrastructure. During the trucker rally, A number of trucks did attempt to close several of the border crossings to the United States. He did not necessarily advocate that. In fact, 3 times during the sermon in which he is being charged, he advocated no boomsticks, no violence. Only stand up for human rights. 3 times he was very clear that he was advocating no violence. And in fact, his charges are void of any attempt by the prosecution to suggest that he advocated violence. Rather, instead, it was the nonviolent protests that he advocated for, endorsed, and said must happen in order for Canada to become free again. Artur Pawlowski's lawyer has been silenced, not allowed to talk to the media. Where have we heard that one before, where someone is not only charged with a crime, but their lawyers and them are not allowed to address the public? In his court case, as they literally went through his sermon and argued over what he meant by different words, he was not allowed to speak under penalty of further charges. You probably have seen his Easter video. If you were watching Fox News at the time, it was all over the place. You can look up Easter and then Artur Pawlowski, and you will find the videos there of a man who had suffered so dearly under communism, repressed from preaching the gospel, from practicing his religion. He was not having it. And that was the kind of man he was. He was the first man in all of Canada to receive a fine for feeding the poor once it became outlawed. Over the course of the cough, he received over 40 tickets, 40 penalties. Now, this is not his first contact with the government for sure. In 2006, he was arrested for preaching. Preaching in Canada. Yes. Again, not advocating violence, but rather not preaching in the right place or the right things. It is criminal to say certain things that are written in the Bible. If you read certain verses, you can be arrested in Canada. This is the type of man who says, I will preach them anyway. In fact, let me stand up taller so I can say them louder. Friends, this is a man who by all rights is justified by his actions. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal by their Creator, right? And endowed with certain inalienable rights. And friends, this man's rights, this man's family's rights are being stripped away. On August 9th, he may be sentenced. That's 1 week from today. Or at that court hearing, he may be told when his sentencing will occur. But friends, we need to raise a ruckus. If you stand for freedom, if you believe that people should be able to freely assemble, to protest unjust laws non-violently, if you believe that people who simply speak, that people should protest non-violently, that is protected speech. If you believe that, then I ask you to raise a ruckus. Now, if you're in Canada, then please go directly to your elected officials. Go to officials that you have access to protest this unjust law, unjust prosecution of an innocent man. If you're in the United States or in other countries, please do get on social media. Make sure that you are getting this news out to as many people as possible so that as many people in Canada can put pressure on their elected officials. If you have access to elected officials or if you want to call your representatives, Calls are the best, or handwritten notes that mailed, but time is of the essence. Get them to your elected officials, congressmen at the federal level preferably, senators, and let them know that this is unjust and that they need to speak out about this. If you are watching other channels and you comment regularly on other channels, let them know about this too. Again, this isn't about promoting this channel. This is about getting the word out about what's about to happen to Artur Pawlowski and making sure that it doesn't happen. Friends, do I need to say it? I will say it. Do nothing that is not peaceful. We're talking about petitioning. We're talking about speaking and sharing information. Do so as loudly as you can, because this is what he was prosecuted for. This is what he is being prosecuted for. And if you think that is abhorrent, that while they let murderers go free in Canada, that they can spare anti-terrorism squads and hundreds of police officers to shut down a church service on Christmas Eve? Well, friends, that's what's happening north of the border, at least if you live in the United States. It's within your borders if you live in Canada. If you're as outraged as I am, please do stand up, speak out, and against this great injustice. Friends, once again, find my pinned comment down below for an article that has an interview with his son, as well as got the information directly from him, as well as others. And also just educate yourself about what the situation is so that whatever you post is accurate, please. We appreciate all of you, and let's make a ruckus together, shall we? All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.